I will just get right into what I'm going to just say, which is that on the day I am recording this, it is currently New Year's Eve, the very last day before we move on to the next decade. Which sounds a bit insane actually. On what would usually be on the last day of a year would be the usual annual montage. In terms of YouTube, you would have seen from my usual viewers that in terms of content, I've had quite a good year in terms of content to actually make. But I haven't shown you all of it. If you hop onto my other social platforms, for example, Instagram or Facebook, there's so much more on there than what I've managed to put onto YouTube. So, just to crack down the top things that have happened this year, I am going to basically go through with you the best highlights of 2019 for me. So let's get on with it. So let's kick things off with the usual thing that happens on one of the first things of every year for me, which is going down to Birmingham for the Ultra Sports International. This year basically went just as usual. Amazing show, really liked it. And one of the highlights of that part was being able to see for the first time in public the new Porsche 935. For those who don't know exactly about this car, the car was based on the old 935 in the late 1970s. And one of the main things that I was famous for was for its whale-shaped design. Because of the sheer length of it, and basically the size of it overall was quite a big car overall, but it was a really famous race car at the time. Porsche had the inspiration to basically bring that car back in the form of a 911 GT2 RS. Only very few people get to own one of these cars, mainly because of the reason that it's not road legal. Anyway, moving on from that, we'll move on to March, where I got more in depth with a car talk series, which is what I usually do. So, for the newer viewers, there's a series that I do called Car Talk. The whole purpose of it is to basically show you all the little details inside some of the most interesting or the newest cars. And luckily I got a chance to make a video on a brand new 2019 Audi TT 20th anniversary edition, and it was a Audi TT to celebrate 20 years of the TT. That meant that everything, like the car from the inside and the outside, was all made out of the same materials as from the very first TT's launch edition. And that was a really nice car to test a video on, and I'm hoping in 2020 I get a chance to do more videos based like that actual video. Right in the middle of the entire year with the Goodwood Festival of Speed. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend this year, but something did happen which perfectly fit in very well, which was the fact that I got the chance to do another episode of Car Talk, which for my recent videos you might have seen it for my Christmas special of the W Motors Fenyr Super Sport, and that is a car that I've seen before because I saw it last year at LIQWYD, but to see how that car's managed to get improved on, because the car as of now, even now, it's still a production prototype, but to see how it's transformed into its real car, which I do believe it's very close to being the final product now, it's just a really nice thing just to see how things roll with not just that car actually, but also with the car's a brand. It's just seeing how the brands evolved over the past year. It's been quite interesting to see how that's happened, and of course with me talking to the founder and the CEO of the company, who some may know as Ralph DeBass, being one of the most down-to-earth people I've ever met. So that was an absolutely amazing highlight of this year. Another highlight which I really want to point out is the European leg. This is one of those things which I didn't show on YouTube. I more showed it on Instagram. I did put up quite a lot of content actually on Instagram about it. And essentially what it was like a casual 10-day holiday in Italy. And in the middle of that holiday, I knew I was going to go into Monaco just to have a look at cars. And we did do that, and it was really nice, and the hotel was really nice. Minus the air conditioning, which failed. Well, if the room that we were in didn't even have any air conditioning, and we were in the middle of some heat wave, so that was quite interesting to say the least. So yeah. Anyway, one thing that I really wasn't expecting was that in order for me to get into Italy from France, since I was going there by coach, was that we had to go through the Swiss Alps in order to actually get ourselves into Italy. That also meant we had to go all the way up these massive mountains and just look at this absolutely amazing scenic environment. Really, it was quite a sight to behold, and I don't think I will ever forget it either, because I remember going into searching with a phone full of battery, and I took so many photos, but by the time we got out of Switzerland, my phone died. And of course, the fact that I managed to find the almighty road that I've been waiting forever to see in real life, the Stelvio Pass, which is a famous road which you've seen on many YouTube videos, and you've probably seen it on top gear and things like that. And to see it in person, it's a really interesting road to see. Moving on to the next month after that, where this was another thing which I was doing on Facebook and Instagram, which was it just turned out to be just a normal day with me with a few friends, who own a Morgan Plus 4 and a Morgan Aero 8. And that turned out to be a really nice day. Went for passenger lights in both cars. And then I was actually given access to actually drive one of the cars, which I am really fortunate of. So I'll never forget that as well, especially for just basically having the emotions and experiencing what it's like to drive a car from the 1950s. That was very interesting. And then going on to the possible last and final very big highlight, which was being able to see the first public premiere of the all-new 2020 Mini Cooper Electric, also known as the SA, and that's another thing which I put on Instagram. That I am really interested about this car so much that I really would like to make an actual video, and I would like to have some time with it just to fully see what are the major details of this car. So basically I just looked around the car and I was really interested in seeing what new features were in the Cooper SE as opposed to a normal petrol Mini Cooper. And there were some very interesting and very unique details which I would also like to go a bit more in depth with. Those are basically the main highlights of this year, and it's all mainly down to that, really. Thank you all very much for watching the video. If you did like it, then of course subscribe button is always very much appreciated, and I will see you in 2020, and I will leave a promise for more YouTube content. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video.